Good morning, my darlings, my angels, my loves, my he, she's, and theys, coming to you live from Tulsa. So here we go already. Technical difficulties. We have a new setup. I moved. I did it. Can we hear me? Can we hear me now? Am I still muted? Oh my gosh, here we are. When you hear your Olive Garden, good morning. There's still no sound? Wait, hold on. There's still no sound? For real? Oh my goddess. I'm showing that there's sound. Is there still no sound? Can you hear me? Am I talking? Oh my goddess. Oh, okay. Good morning. Hi, we're here. Good morning, everyone. Hi. I moved. Oh my gosh. I took a whole week off to move, and it took every little bit of that. But I did. I made it. I moved. We're at a new setup. I already feel like I want different lighting because I don't have the same background, but it's fine. It's good. I'm happy to be here. I've missed you guys. I missed you guys so much. I hope everyone had a great week off from me ranting about super chill topics at the beginning of their day. Multiple people messaged me and said they missed the morning live streams, which is like super heartwarming. But I'm like, where are we at as a society that we need some white bitch from Tulsa, Oklahoma to yell about everything wrong with the world early in the morning? You know what I mean? So great. You think the lighting has massively improved? Oh, that's so interesting. I feel like it's off, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just not used to it yet. I'm relying a lot more on natural lighting. There's a window right here, which I did not have last time. Okay, I'm glad we like the setup. I don't know. I tried to keep the prints still. And we got some books in the back. I love this girl right here. I'm pointing to her right here. She's the centerpiece of my whole living room. Yeah, I know that I feel like it lacks contrast as well. So I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out the lighting. But anyway, we're here. I'm glad to be here. I think that I wanted to take today to talk about essentially kind of like some fundamentals, okay? Because when you hear your Olive Garden, just kidding. But when you're here, no. What am I trying to say? Oh, I think that I've been considering a lot lately, and I've been having some conversations recently about what it will actually take, right, for life to actually get better for the everyday person, for, you know what, maybe I do like this lighting. I don't know. God, it even sounds different, like, in my head. Like, the words that I'm speaking echo differently, and I feel so different and weird. Okay, it might just take some getting used to. I don't know. Okay. I think that I've been wondering recently because about what it will take for essentially the revolution, viva la revolution. But I think that I have been feeling, and I know a lot of people have been feeling, really disempowered and I've been feeling a little bit hopeless. The situation in Gaza gets worse every day, right? And we're seeing more and more starving children, and our leaders, which I don't even like using that word for people who hold political office and therefore should be serving us, they're not making any moves to lessen the suffering of the Palestinians. They're not making any moves to lessen the suffering of anyone. Really? Let's be so for real. And it's becoming so stark to see the billionaire weddings in, where was it? Venice, right? And then scroll starving child in Gaza. Scroll Katy Perry in space. What the fuck are we doing? Is where I'm at. And I think that's why I've been kind of really grappling with where the root issues of a lot of these real manifested realities of harm and suffering and violence against specific peoples throughout the world. I mean, what is the like the core of it all. Like, what is the root issue here? Why the fuck is nothing happening to at the very least, just give like a more level playing field of people having a fighting chance for like a better life. But what should be, the result should be, you know, like getting aid to the Gazans. You know, why is there not enough pressure on Israel? How are we still here? Don't like the majority of people in the United States have the opinion that what Israel is doing is wrong? I feel like I should have looked that up before the stream, but it's just insane. Like, and I mean insane in the like, not like, whoa, that's crazy. I mean like, this is, you're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. What isn't working? What isn't clicking? For the everyday people, for our leaders to not, like, why am I still using that word? Because they're not leaders. They're not my leaders if they can't make any actual headway toward relieving the suffering of people who don't deserve nobody deserves suffering, but do you know what I mean? So I'm grappling with these questions, like what's the root cause of everything going on? And I really am just like, I just end up circling back to, I mean, I guess it's just going to require the everyday people to start like a more collective paradigm shift, like us all collectively moving through the process of deconstruction, the process of decolonization, depatriarchy, all of that. And welcome everyone. Hello, welcome. You know, just me going on a rant. But yeah, I'm feeling, so I'm, you know, I know we all are, there's like a collective feeling of disempowerment and like, well, what the fuck am I even doing? You know, why am I even going to work when I should be out in the streets protesting every single day? And, you know, a big part of me wants to do that. Perhaps the majority part of me wants to do that, but that wouldn't even be enough. You know, like it's a lot. It's a lot. And I think I just want to like give recognition to that, to the feeling of helplessness and feeling like there's nothing we can do. But again, yeah, so I've been going back to like the real root situation where I'm at. I don't know if I like this lighting. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Sorry. It's going to take time for me to get used to the new setup. I don't know. I just, like, there's a lot of little things we can do, right? We can donate to organizations that are actually doing good work trying to liberate the Palestinians. We can continue talking about it. We can continue sharing the stories that that can bring more awareness to the actual story of what's going on. There's a lot of little things we can do. We can call our representatives, like they'll even fucking listen. I don't know. You know, there's all these little things we can do, but I'm just stuck. I just feel a little stuck. And so I wanted to take some time today to get back to some of the fundamentals as far as what we can, like what role this community has in moving the needle in the right direction, what we can actually meaningfully accomplish as everyday people in a world designed to keep us quiet, shut the fuck up, you know? More color in the light. Okay, thank you. Everyone's like trying to give me feedback. Hold on, I feel like I can do that somehow. Like that? I don't know if I like that. That one might be a little bit better. Okay, that one might be a little bit better. I don't know. Do I need to move the thing? If I move to there. Nope, don't like that at all. I don't know, kids. I'll move it there for now. Yeah, we'll figure out the lighting. Obviously, that's not like the craziest priority of everything going on in the world. But I don't know. I'm so some chatter says, so I stick to one-on-one discussions. I mean, that's kind of like what I'm trying to get to is like, what does it actually, what does it actually look like to move through this world in a way that is essentially revolutionary when the revolution is like not happening? Like, it's not happening. We can have all the hashtag resistance we want. We can have all of the online discourse and the fucking sharing, and even, you know, donating is great. Please donate if you have the means to. Spread the awareness if you have a platform. Like, have these conversations with people if you have it. But it's like, all of that to say, the revolution is not happening. Like, if this is the revolution, we have fucking failed. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is not it. So until the capital R revolution happens, what does that mean as far as moving toward it? Like, what does it mean to live an actual revolutionary life? And I try to speak to this. I try to actually live like this in my day to day. I mean, it's it can feel conflicting sometimes to recognize that, okay, I'm a white woman with a lot of privilege. I have a lot of means. I have my own apartment. Like, that's a crazy privilege in this world of 8 billion people. And what does that, you know, there is an inner conflict of like, okay, obviously I will never be able to do enough to actually like single-handedly bring about the, you know, liberation for all, of course. But there is like a tension of, okay, the best I can do is like move through my life and actively push against like the colonized collective hive mind almost, or like actively resist any thoughts that I think were programmed into me by ruling elites that want me to think that I have to work a 9-to-5 in order to be a valued member of society, or that certain dress codes. You guys know I fucking hate dress codes. You guys know how I feel about dress codes. They're the fucking worst. I think they're the dumbest things. I think that dress codes are like one of the most, like, they're like the epitome of control. I fucking hate dress codes. And it's like literally the most externalized form of control of everyday people. I fucking hate dress codes, right? So it's like, I can push back against dress codes. Cool, great. Like, you know, congratulations, Kayse has the privilege to be able to even consider that what she wears matters. Do you know what I mean? So like, there is that internal tension of recognizing how lucky we are to even have these thoughts of like, okay, what thoughts are my own? What are my actual authentic truth? And what has been programmed into me? And that's really what I wanted to get to today, is recognizing all of the internal thoughts that we have, you know, really being self-critical and self-analytical to understand like, yeah, you know what, Chatter, you're right. Chatter said dress codes and swearing cops, as in like people who care about dress codes and people who care about swearing are under the same umbrella. And that is so fucking correct. People who don't like that I'm swearing or that I cuss, oh my goddess, correct. Sorry, I fucking hate dress codes. Okay, anyway, yeah, so part of the conversation today is like, this really does get into it. Really, the beginning of this conversation for me that we're having right now started literally 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when I started really questioning and walking away from Christianity. When I really walked away from Christianity and started the process of deconstruction from evangelical Christianity, and recognizing that pretty much everything I was taught to believe was taught to me to keep me controlled. And guess what was one of the first things that I had to come to terms with recognizing? Modesty. Modesty was one of the first things as a new baby, non-Christian, ex-Christian, okay? Hi, Shadow. You want to say hi? They haven't seen you in a long time. Do you want to say hi? Okay, pause from my rant. Come here, baby. Come here. Hi, sweetie. Come on. Come on. Come here. Come on. Hi, baby. My puppy. Shadow loves the new place. It took him a minute because it's like I'm in the same building as I was in before. I just like moved to a 1-bedroom after living with my brother in a 2-bedroom. And so he's a little confused because it's like the same but different. But he loves it. You know, he's a happy boy. He's a happy boy. Say hi, everybody. Yeah, that's my good boy. He's so good. Okay. Yeah, modesty was one of the first things when I left Christianity that I really questioned. I was like, well, if I'm not like, you know, covering my body because that's what Christ wants, then why am I covering my body? You know, why does this matter? Why do clothes matter? Why do certain kinds of clothes matter? You know, that was one of the first like things that I deconstructed was the need for a fucking dress code. Oh my God. Hi, baby. You gonna say hi to your friends? Look at all your friends. Yeah? Usually when I talk about friends, it means he's going to daycare, so. Do you want to say hi to your friends? Are you friends over there? Are those your friends? Yeah, he doesn't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, he's such a good boy. Such a good boy. I don't know, you guys. What do we do? What do we do with all the terrible evil in the whole world? We just be sweet to each other? Just be sweet? Rescue dogs off the street like this one? Yeah? Poor baby. Covered in fleas. Underfed. Poor. Had scarring from a lead on his neck. Such a pity. Honestly, even if he had a chip, once I saw the scarring on his neck, I was like, I'm not returning him. He's staying with me. Anyway, sorry, what were we talking about? We were talking about... Yeah. Basically, change your beliefs, change the world is the title of this stream. Isn't that what I made the title? I'm so creative, I like lose track. Okay. Have I ever thought of moving to Seattle, SFO, like San Francisco, or Portland, or some other more evolved area? I have thought about it. I think I'd love the Pacific Northwest. I have no idea. Dress codes is control, is what we were talking about. Yeah, dress codes. Fuck a dress code. Sorry. All right. So, and I mean, like, no, I don't like dress codes. Ooh. How to save the world. Yeah, super chill concept. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone, for keeping me on track here. I don't know. Like, it feels so, you know, cliche and ridiculous and privileged to be like, we just need to liberate our minds and then everything is okay. But in a world where everything is set up against us individually and collectively feeling free, just like the actual feeling of feeling free. Maybe we never will be free, right? But the actual feeling of like, I have the freedom to decide what I want to wear today. I have the freedom to decide whether or not I want to go into work today. You know, am I going into work? Yes, I am. But I'm making, you know, even if it's a total delusion or placebo effect or what the fuck ever, like, maybe that is all we can do. I don't know. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy out here. Some societies had freedom, and that's a great point. It's like, for those of us who are living in high control areas, like especially, you know, Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I'm at, that's a high control area, high control religion. That's why we call like specific religious denominations high control religions, right? It's just trying to get comfortable in my new situation. It's so weird. It's so weird. I miss the old setup already. Is that terrible? Oh my goddess. Okay, I'm being ridiculous. Christianity is not the best religion, chatter. No, it is not. It took me leaving Christianity to start. Okay, that's what I wanted to get to. Yes, I have severe trauma because of my upbringing. That's literally the point. That's the point. I think that, okay, so like, all I can do is kind of share my story and then inspire others to consider their own upbringing and their own worldviews and how they've been programmed into each of us. That's all I can do, right? And so I look at my story of how I got to this point of being apparently crazy radical because I just want people to be able to wear whatever the fuck they want. Or, you know, work how they want, when they want, where they want. I don't believe that if there was universal basic income, I don't believe that if money wasn't real, people would be lazy. I don't believe that. I really fucking don't. I wouldn't. I know that for a fact because I've been completely financially dependent on someone and I still wanted to go to grad school and I still wanted to go to write books and all of that stuff. Like I've not needed to work before and I still wanted to work. So I don't believe that people would be lazy if we didn't have money and society and all of that shit. People would still want to do art and take care of each other and make sure there's like honor in an aging society and all of that. So I feel so frazzled. Like I feel like I can't even like keep my logic straight with this new setup. It's just going to take time to get used to this. I'm like looking outside, you know, because the window's right there and I didn't have that before. I'm like, oh, what's going on? Okay. Everything's fine. I have missed you guys. Okay. I'm focused. I'm so focused. Okay, for the very hard and disgusting jobs that people do not want to do, then guess what? There could be incentives for those. But currently in the society we live in, the hard and disgusting jobs are the ones that are the least paid and the least credible, the least respected. So that argument is ridiculous. Why aren't people doing the hard and disgusting jobs getting paid the most? The people who are getting paid the most in corporate America sit around on their asses and do nothing. They do fucking nothing. I promise you that. They do nothing. They make glorified to-do lists for other people to do. Are you kidding me? Those people get paid the most money? It's a joke. It's not real. Capitalism isn't even real. We've just been tricked into thinking it's real. So apparently I got all the way to this crazy capital R radical point of view, and it all started when I realized I wasn't a Christian anymore. And I think what I'm trying to get at today is looking around and seeing how much is seriously programmed into us just so that we can be controlled. Because the more you believe that you have to have capitalism or, employment in order to live your life in a meaningful way, the more that we actually internalize the belief that what we produce in society is our true value, the more of a grip that people who don't actually believe that have over us. Does that make sense? Like, there are people out there who know that they never have to work a day in their life, and all they have to do is keep everyday people in the working class convinced that we do need to work. That's all they have to do. They have to perpetuate a lie, a big lie with so many different layers in it. That's all they have to do, and they'll never have to work a day in their life. And they'll be able to take foreign language lessons and learn all these different instruments if they want, and travel the world and do all of the shit that we all want to do, but we can't because we're working 80-hour weeks to put food on the table for our families. That's great. Go ahead, continue believing that if there was universal basic income, that nobody would work and that the hard and disgusting jobs wouldn't be done. That's great. Go ahead and continue perpetuating that. It's been working so fucking well. It's been doing so great for all of us, including the people who do those hard and disgusting jobs. That's great. I'm sure they would love to continue getting paid how much they're getting paid and working 6 days a week. I'm sure that's great. I'm sure they love it. That's super great. Thank you for the super chat. I always pivot so hard like that. Thank you for the super chat. I miss you guys too. Shadow misses you guys too. He loves the new place. He's just like, he's got so many little cozy spots now. He's just, going back and forth between them. USA people work to survive a system and have basic needs that are covered and not constant elsewhere. Wait, what do you mean? People in the United States work to survive a system and have basic needs that are covered, and not constant elsewhere. Yeah. Don't get me started on healthcare, education. It's insane. What are you talking about? What are we talking about? Not you, chatter, but you know what I mean. I don't know. So here I am, ranting and raving every day. What was that, chat? A very small percentage of the population works on food production. The rest of us have bullshit jobs sitting at computers. Yeah, exactly. They're just trying to come up. All of these middle management, what the fuck are we talking about? What do you mean? All of these different levels to corporate America, to capitalism, have to continue expanding and getting created to perpetuate the lie that we have to work in a society in order to have value. Oh my God. Great. I'm already mad. I'm mad. Thank you for the super chat. Capitalism brainwashes us to be unable to imagine a world without it. Exactly, correct. Humans made it for centuries without it. We will thrive more when it's gone. I completely agree. And I think that, so it's like, okay, so Kayse the mad. I'm mad. I am. So it's like, okay. So what does that look like for the everyday person is really what I'm trying to get at. I think there's a lot of ways that, oh my God, Shadow's hair. It's everywhere. I think that I've talked about this before. And for me, it really did take leaving Christianity and like the process of deconstructing from the very serious brainwashing of my upbringing took so fucking long that pretty quickly after I left Christianity, I was calling myself a Democrat, or like a liberal. And is that controlled opposition? Yes. Do I have any faith in the Democratic Party now? No. All of that. But at the time, it was still like, yeah, that's right. I recognize patriarchy, Black Lives Matter, all of this. I guess it's fair to say it was like a little bit more performative because I hadn't really dug into like what all of the underlying principles of what being a liberal or a Democrat or being on the left all meant. But I think that the subconscious underlying beliefs that I was picking apart and digging through and trying to root out the corruption of all of the limiting beliefs that were instilled into me by the environment I was raised in, that took so much fucking work. And even until a couple of years ago, there have been so many ways that my upbringing has manifested into my adult life that it's hard work to sift through, and it takes so much time and effort. And, part of the result of that is that now I have a lot of empathy for wherever people are at in their deconstruction journey. Like, I do not expect people, you guys know this, I do not expect people to leave Christianity and immediately make it to atheist, leftist, communist. It takes a lot of fucking time and energy to get all the way through to the core values that I think our shared humanity really does actually align with. That has nothing to do with what we've been taught or the lies that have been perpetuated on our behalf. So, thank you for the super trap. The super trap. The super chat. The super chat says the meritocracy trap. Thank you for the super trap. Oh my God, Kayse. Okay. is a great book of the workaholics and the Ivy League justification for overtime performance to compensate for laziness, and it's a trap on everyone. Thank you for the super trap. What do I think of Israel? That it shouldn't exist. The end. It's an ethno state. Which innately sets up an apartheid society where there's a hierarchy of citizenship. Yes, hello, I'm back. Do I think Taco is Christian? No. No, I don't think he's Christian. I don't think, we're referring to Trump, right? When we say Taco? Yeah, no, I don't think Trump is Christian. Oh my God. I don't think he believes in anything. I'm not even convinced he's a real person. I'm just kidding. I don't think he's a lizard person. I don't think he's a robot. But I don't think he has a lot of humanity. I will say that. I don't think he has a lot of humanity. I think he has sold a lot of his humanity. And it's like, I don't like to operate as if anyone is irredeemable. I know that sounds super Christian, but whatever. But I do think that, like, logically speaking, certain people are just, like, never gonna break free from, honestly, like, the self-perpetuating pain that he is probably in. He's probably in so much pain and has so much trauma from his life. Like, granted, he was born into a rich family. Like, it's not as bad as, you know, people who go through actual suffering. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, Taco. But I don't, like, I do think that people on those certain, like, upper echelons of society who are so severely perpetuating all of the harm and suffering in the world through their own greed and honestly probably fear of losing their assets and fear of losing their power, which it's almost like people on top have also fallen under the same lie, under the same spell, that they wouldn't have value unless they had all of that shit, right? Like all of the things they have, the jets, the yachts, etc. Like they've also fallen into that lie, that's what matters. And so, you know, people in those roles, like there is a level of pity I have for them, to be completely honest, because I don't think that they have the opportunity to access the actual humanity, like the core of humanity within them. I think they'll forever be severed from the collective. They will never have actual connection. I don't think it's possible once you get to a certain point. That's not to say that everyone who's filthy rich is, again, irredeemable. Like, I don't like that mentality, because the point of the human experience, or the point of recognizing the shared human experience in everyone, is recognizing that anyone at any time can take, you know, their own empowerment and start building a better world for all of that, you know? So even the super rich people on this planet, like, I don't want to say by default they're all irredeemable, but also logically speaking, I think they're so closed off from their own human essence. Their own greed has perpetuated the harm that they do in the name of their fear of not having any value. It's so rooted in their core. Because again, a working class white woman in Oklahoma took 12 years to get to where I'm at. And yeah, I have a lot of privilege compared to the rest of the world, but I've been capital H hungry. You know, like, I've had electricity cut off. I've had car repossessed. You know, like, shit's been hard for me. And it still took so much internal deprogramming to get to the point to where I'm at now, which is like a lot more radical than a lot of people, right? And I still have work. This is why I always say deconstructing of any hierarchy is a journey, not a destination. There's still so much I have to learn. I have to and that's part of it, is like, we all have to constantly defend ourselves from the myths and the lies that are still trying to seep into our subconscious, into our minds, into our worldviews, our paradigms, into our beliefs. I have to constantly check my internalized misogyny, and I'm like the most girl's girl out here, I feel like sometimes. I have to constantly check my own white privilege and white, that which is white supremacy inside of me, right? Like, it's a constant battle to check our own programming. And I'm, again, like, I am privileged, but I have not been afforded the privilege of these super wealthy people. I can't imagine how much work it would take for someone who was born just a millionaire, forget billionaire, someone who was born a millionaire to really reach inside and separate themselves from the false equivalency of the value that they believe they have because they're millionaires. Do you know what I mean? That's got to take so much work. So it's like, that's why sometimes I say, like, I almost like have a lot of pity for billionaires, because I just don't think, I can't imagine if it's possible to really like find the core humanity when you're so privileged in a society that wants to keep you on top and people on the bottom, other people on the bottom. Thank you for the super chat. It's okay to curse the Christians. It's okay. It's okay to curse the Christians. It's okay to curse the Muslims. It's okay to curse the God I don't believe in. But if I curse the Jews, the cops are going to come after me. This is America. Well, okay. So like cursing the Jews, yeah, because that's an ethnicity as well. And that is like, first of all, yeah. Okay. First of all, the way you framed all of that, I almost kind of disagree with, because you're talking about cursing the Christians, cursing the Muslims, and cursing the Jews. Those are all groups of people. We don't need to curse groups of people, okay? I talk about that a lot. We need to curse Christianity, like I say curse like I'm a witch, but I'm okay. I'll openly critique Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, because those aren't groups of people. Those are beliefs and institutions of power. So that like, I understand the point that you were making, but it's also a little bit kind of anti-Semitic, first of all, to separate them from Christians and no. I walked myself back. No, we don't need to curse any group of people, actually. We can curse belief systems. You see a lot of judgmental hate. I don't know. Okay. You mean you have to plead allegiance to Israel? Yeah, I feel like that's what you were kind of getting at, Chatter, but see, that was already like, there was a little bit of like what I would call programmed hate into that sentence that it is kind of on us to unpack. It's actually not okay to curse any group of people, right? Like, it's not okay to curse Christians or Muslims or Jews, right? But we can critique belief system. Like, the word Jews is tricky because it speaks to both an ethnicity and people who fall under a specific religion. But like, as far as Judaism goes, that's kind of under the same umbrella as Christianity and Islam. Anyway, all right. Oh my gosh, thank you for that super chat. Wow, that was a big super chat. Wow, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you, Kayse. Your words of love, solidarity, and community are words to live by. Free, free Palestine. Stop the genocide. Wow, thank you so much. That, I mean, yeah, that's what it is. Like, let's sum it up. That's it. Free, free Palestine. That's it. I appreciate that. I do. It's still like, I guess where we get to is, we get to this point of awareness. So going back, taking a couple steps back, it took me 12 years to get to this awareness. Now, a lot of that was like, I really just, again, like a couple of years ago, I was capital H hungry. My car was repossessed. I was going through eviction court. I was in survival mode for real. Am I a white woman with a lot of privilege? Yes, I am. But, you know, I was hungry. And so like, and that was in 2023. Towards the end of 2023, in October 2023, my car was repossessed. Do you know what I mean? So I think that, so like I was never pro-Israel, other than the argument that like, because I was not informed and therefore I guess kind of neutral. If you're not doing active resistance against something, then you end up kind of on the side of the oppressor, if that makes sense. But like, it took me actually digging into what was going on to be like, oh my God, free Palestine. You know what I mean? So like, I was never calling myself a Zionist, never saying that I was actively pro-Israel, whatever, you know, no, none of that. But my point with that is like, it does require a little bit of privilege to even get to the point in our lives where we can do the digging and the research and the understanding and the self-education. And it takes time and it takes energy and it takes real internal work to challenge those internal beliefs, because we become so personally identified. And that's really the fucking hard part about asking people to challenge. Okay, now that the sun's up a little bit more, I am liking the lighting a little bit better. Okay. So it is so, what was I talking about? No, that's not true, chatter. I'm not even addressing that. Okay, sorry. I know nobody knows what I'm talking about, but I'm just not doing it. Yeah, I know, squirrel. I'm sorry. I got distracted. It's a new setup. Oh, yeah. So part of the like real challenging part, that's true. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Hold on. Going back to the super chat by Landrew. Is that how you pronounce it? Landrew? Landru? That was a really big super chat. Thank you for that. Yes, that's what I was getting at. So it took me so long to get to the point where I was even educated enough to understand the importance of active resistance and getting to the point of free Palestine, right? And I think a large part of that is how internally identified we are with the beliefs that were taught to us. And that's what's really tricky, is because we become identified as a Christian. Or from birth, I was identified as a Christian. That's who I thought I was, like genuinely deep down. And whenever you start to question that, it really does require this whole questioning of, who am I? What matters? And really that's what it is who am I? But I think what can easily be forgotten after a lot of time goes by, and this is true for even myself personally, is I stopped questioning who I really was and what really matters to me. Like once I got to the point of like, yeah, I'm not a Christian anymore, all of that stuff that I was taught, man, it took me, it was almost like I got to the point where I thought that I was fully deconstructed, right? And I was like, yep, I'm not a Christian anymore. I've worked through all of the trauma that came with an evangelical upbringing. Like, I'm not a Christian anymore. I made it. I'm good. But the challenge is to keep digging and keep going, because there is so much baggage that comes with capitalism, white supremacy, patriarchy, all of it. Organized religion, that ends up so seeped into our minds, into our worldviews, into the way we see other people. How many times have I talked about how one of the best ways we can, capital R, resist, is to refusing to see each other as commodities and refusing to see our interactions with others as value-based exchanges. Not to say they're not valuable, but value as in like monetarily valuable, right? That's one thing I've heard a lot about people who have moved here to Tulsa from California. Like, I'll give Tulsa some props, right? Everywhere has its pros and cons. And one of the pros of living in Tulsa is people are like actually genuinely friendly and enjoy meeting people. And my understanding, I've heard multiple people say that they moved from LA for whatever reason. and how hard it is in like bigger cities or in a city like Los Angeles. Very much, I'm an atheist. Thank you for asking. They end up, anyway, people moving from LA, like in those bigger cities, all people you meet, like it just becomes this evaluation, literally like a monetary evaluation. What can I get from you? How can I level up like in society? And there's a lot of evaluation in that sense. And I can't really confirm either way, but I will say that if that's true, I am pretty proud of Tulsa, and I do like Tulsa, and it's, you know, friendliness, and it's actual, yeah, Landrew is everywhere. We love Landrew. We love Landrew in this house. Thank you for that. So hi Shadow. Are you being a good boy? Yeah, you're a good boy. So yeah, that's the real like internal work again of, okay, and it's like, okay, so what am I talking about? So what am I talking about if I'm talking about the all of the smaller ways that we might have thought patterns that are programmed into us? So not commodifying each other, not falling into the belief of not believing modesty, bro, modesty, nope, nothing wrong with our bodies. There's nothing shameful about our bodies. I'm not doing it. Not available for that. You saw my bare shoulders on Instagram. Whoa. That was funny. Oh my God, that's a crazy chat. I'm not even gonna address it. You guys are so funny. I've missed you so much. So happy to be back. Happy Sunday. You guys, I don't know. Change your beliefs, change the world. I don't know. We're out here trying. Yeah, alert the Kayse Club. Kayse posted her shoulders on Instagram. You guys are so funny. I just think that, so going back to kind of like the beginning of the stream today. Ooh, I'm sleepy. Going back to the beginning of my stream, I've been having a lot of internal dialogue about what it will take for like a capital R revolution, what we can actually do. You know, we're out here, we're aware that the Palestinians are getting ethnically cleansed. You know, we scroll past the decimated area of Palestine. We scroll past these bodies of starving children, and we're out here, and it's like, what can we do? I don't know. I feel super powerless. I feel so like it's hard not to feel hopeless. And I mean, let's remember that feeling hopeless and not continuing to take action is part of the point, okay? So part of the point of those in power who don't want us to take action. So it's like, I feel hopeless. I'm not stopping what I'm doing, but man, oh my God, it's so fucked. It's crazy. I don't know. I mean, so we're going to keep doing what we're doing here. It's a genocide. The D word is an ableist slur. What D word? What did I say? Decimated? I don't know what I said. I'm sorry. Despicable? Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what I said. I Are there religious people in chat? I mean, welcome. You guys are welcome. Be careful. You're not allowed to proselytize. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's crazy out here. It's crazy. So, okay, moving on. Yeah. So there's all this. God, it's so fucking hard. I don't know, man. Oh, you were talking to other people. Okay, sorry. I mean, if I accidentally say a slur, I mean, I want to know. But yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what's going on in the chat. Okay, sometimes I tune in, sometimes I don't. That's why we love our mods in the Kayse house. I've thought about renaming the Discord to Kayse's house because I always say in this house we believe in X, Y, and Z. In this house we stand up for what's right. Like I oughta. Yeah, so I don't know. Oh, I know what I can talk about, you guys. Okay, so my friends and I, we did a movie night. And we watched Doctor Strangelove, which I won't spoil it for anyone because it was fucking spoiled for me. But wow, that was crazy. That was crazy because it was relevant, is what I mean. It was made in the 60s. It was a movie made in the 60s, and I'd never seen it before, Doctor Strangelove. And so I didn't really know what to expect until someone literally spoiled it for me. But it was so relevant to today's time. Like, so relevant. And it's so funny, like, I don't feel like this is a spoiler, but, like, all of the hate on the communists. So it's, like, kind of about what would have happened during the Cold War if this and this and this. So, like, the villains were the communists. Well, I say villains because it's, like, the movie's kind of maybe satirical in itself, but it's so dumb, too. I know. It was it was Kubrick. A great film. I loved it. I very much enjoyed it. I like very rarely watch TV and film right now. I just feel like there's a million other things to do. But, you know, I'll sit down with my friends and like do it as like a social thing for sure. So, yeah. So I hi baby. Are you a good boy? Yeah. Oh, he's so good. There will be no fighting in the war room. Yeah, no, it was great. Doctor Strangelove was a great movie, but I thought about you guys because I was like, man, I wish there was a way for us to have like more for real movie nights, you know, like digitally, but I just don't know if it would work because I kind of like to talk during movies, and I feel like if we did that virtually, it just wouldn't work, right? Yeah, so it was just funny that the villains were the communists and all of the stuff that they were saying about the communists, which also they were using the word communist, but there was like kind of like a racial slant to that, right? You know? Thank you for the super chat. Monies for Shadow from Como Freak. Is that how you say it? I don't know how to say some of your names, so I hesitate to like mispronounce some of the names. Am I purified? Sorry, that got me. Am I purified? I can't. Oh my god. That's fucking hilarious. Am I purified? Oh no. No. No, I'm not saying communist is a racial slur. I'm saying it was almost kind of used like that in the movie. How was my move? Thank you for that question. It was good. So I took the whole week off from streaming, and it took like every ounce of my time and energy to get to the point to where I'm finally moved in. But like I did it all in like one shot, right? Oh my God, I just answered that. I'm not saying communist is a racial slur. I'm saying it was kind of used like that in the movie. Oh my God. Yeah, I know. Am I purified? That's hilarious. Yeah, so I don't know, kids. I don't know. I've just been thinking a lot about, because it's hard. It's hard not to question, am I doing enough? Do I need to be doing more? And it's like, yes, we all need to be doing more. But I also think that there's like this, what would you call it? Like freeze? What do they call it? Like functional freeze that can happen when we feel the weight of the world on our shoulders, and it's so oppressive that we feel like we can't do anything about it, and then we experience functional freeze, right? So it's kind of like this weird tension or paradox. It's like recognizing all of the harm in the world being, perpetuated by our tax dollars, by our government, recognizing our complicity in all of it, all of that. It's important to be aware of it, yes, but in order to actively resist it, it's almost like it's important to not let it all rest on our shoulders, or to feel like we're alone. Honestly, that's a big part of it, is to ensure that we don't feel like we're alone, and to come together in unity and community, both here online. Like, this is a huge part. I've been so grateful for the Kayse and Friends Discord. Like, it's the friends that we've made there, and the conversations we've had to kind of walk through what we want this community to be, because I want it to serve the needs of everyone, right? And some of you guys have been like such great advocates for standing up for what's right, for being there for each other, meeting everyone where we're at on our journeys, right? The community and the conversation, yeah, all of it. So like, that's a great part. Also, in-person communities in our own lives, in our IRL lives. It's crucial. I think that's a big part of what we can do, is just remembering that we are not just individuals in a capitalist system. Excuse me. The United States only cares for profit? Yeah, I know. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. It's so bad. The world is so bad. But there's also a lot of good. I feel like I've also been, I don't know, I go back and forth on this part. I've been wondering if I need to consume more. There's like, like TikTok channels or YouTube channels dedicated to positive news only, right? And I think those are really good, like check-ins to remember, like, hey, there are so many people out here fighting for what's right. There are so many people moving the needle in the right direction. Are we really calling the Discord Kayse's house? I don't know. But, yeah, anyway, like, remembering that there is a lot of good that's being done in the world. And not to ignore or actively forget about all of the terrible things that we still need to work on, but sometimes positive news does allow us to be like, oh, okay, I'm not alone. It is possible to make change, and that can kind of motivate us to keep building something better. Are we going to make a vote for the new name? All right, I'll let you guys choose. All of my materials say join the Kayse and Friends Discord, so this has to be like a widely chosen and accepted name change. Call it Kayse's Castle. Then we can call it KCC. That's kind of fun. I don't know, guys. Y'all are so funny. We're so funny out here. Hi, Shadow. Oh, he's so cute. Now he's on the couch. He's not supposed to be on the couch, but I don't give a fuck. I don't know. The positive news YouTube channels, I feel like I say that and I'm more familiar with the one. I mean, you can just search positive news and I'm sure you'll find them. The ones I'm most familiar with are on TikTok. No, we can't move toward, so that's a good idea. Someone said Kayse's Kingdom. First of all, it would be a queendom. Second of all, I don't do anything else. I don't do anything like a second word that starts with a K, because once you get more than one K involved, Gets a little dangerous, gets a little dicey out here. Okay, we don't need multiple K's in a row, if you feel me. So how about Shadow's house? Yeah, it's accurate. I love that we're actively trying to figure it out. Yeah, I think if you just search positive news channels on YouTube, TikTok, whatever your platform of choice is, you'll be able to find it. But I do, it is a nice check-in, I think, that allows us to see the proof. That's really what it is. It's like proof that things can work. No, nothing with a K. Nothing with a K. Oh my goodness. Kayse's Asylum. That's the winner. Kayse's Asylum. Oh no. Oh no, you guys. All right. Enough with the K's. Enough. Oh. Kayse's Queendom. Yeah. Means TV has a positive news series. Thank you, Vin. Okay, here's a fun one. Atheism, Chatter says, atheism is the stupidest belief system. You know for sure there's no God, but you have no real evidence for that belief. At least agnosticism is more rational. That's actually not quite accurate for what I would say is most atheists. You say you know for sure there's no God, but you have no real evidence for that belief. I actually would say that only the second half of that sentence is true. Atheism is actually the recognition that there is no evidence for the existence of a God. That's what atheism means. I would say that a large majority of atheists would disagree with the statement that they know for sure there is no God, right? I don't say I know for certain there is no God. I don't say that. I say there's no evidence to suggest there is one. So therefore I'm a non-theist. I don't believe in a God. I don't think there's evidence for a God. I don't believe there is no God. That's literally... Oh my goodness gracious, you guys. You guys are so funny. You guys are so funny. Enough with that. Yeehaw. Yeehaw. Oh. I don't know, guys. Did we cover it? Did we get through it? I don't know. Yeah, that's fair. Some of you guys are saying we have evidence that the biblical or Christian God doesn't exist. Yeah, I totally, 100%. Hi, Shadow. Okay, I think I'm winding down. No, I'm not a politician. No, I'm not a politician. Okay. All right, y'all. I think that I'm really going to be grappling a lot with like what we're doing on this platform. I mean, obviously, like it's just kind of like its own journey. And half the time I don't even know where it's going. But I think I'm going to be just kind of trying. Oh, also I have to make those changes in the Discord. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So now that I've moved, we've made a lot of progress. I've got to get that podcast episode out tonight. Okay. I've got a lot to do. I think I'll wrap it up here. Thank you everyone who was patient with me as I moved this weekend. Thank you for the amazing super chats today. Thank you for showing up and conversing and participating in the Kayse and Friends Discord, which we're calling it right now, in these live streams. I can't wait to talk with you tomorrow. And with that, be safe, be well, make choices. I have so much to do. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I love you guys. Oh my gosh. It's a new place, but it's still the same. Still the same us. All right. I love you guys. Have a good day.